So as a supplement to yesterday, I just want to clarify, in case it was missed, in my enthusiasm and excitement over the issue of taking out old assets in that substitution process that we talked about. The substitution process being referred to, let's see, on this slide here, when you replace an asset and you actually take the old asset off the books. The excitement that I had about that is it makes the books more pure. Here's why. Remember, when you sell an asset or you dispose of an asset, what you're really going to do is you're hopefully going to look at your various T accounts, which is the asset itself, and the accumulated depreciation associated with that. If there is accumulated depreciation, there's going to usually be a debit balance here and a credit balance here. Your entry will be taking the asset and crediting it for some number. Let's do that where it's more legible. So you'll take the XX, and that'll be your credit, and then the accumulated depreciation will be debited for the amount. And the result in your T accounts is that the old asset, which is no longer on the books, is now gone, and the accumulated depreciation associated with it is gone. So when we got to this substitution method, which I got very excited about, is that when you replace an asset with a new one, you wind up keeping the historical costs of the assets themselves more pure. Why? Because the old asset is gone. So the historical cost of all the assets stays more pure when you get rid of the old. If all you did was, and by the way, to finish up this entry, that's getting rid of the old asset, and then the new asset is merely debited for the cost of the new asset, usually more, because that's the way life works. Everything costs more day after day, and of course that's the credit of cash. So that's the new. So when we use the substitution method, well, before we used to use the substitution method, if we didn't, the result was that the historical cost that was heretofore the old asset, if we don't use the substitution method and we don't take this out, we continue to depreciate it, then we will add the new one. This has to be done, the new replacement, and we wind up depreciating both the old and the new at the same time, provided that the old hasn't been fully depreciated yet. And that just overstates the historical amount, becomes overstated, and so does the accumulated depreciation. They're both overstated if we don't take it off. So you might say, well, why don't we take it off all the time? And the answer is we should. But sometimes when the cost of the original is unknown, we don't. A lot of people just add to the mix of assets, they just put the new one on, like we see here. So my excitement is, if we can do anything in our power to come up with a method to take the old off, it makes the statements more pure. That's what I liked about it. And so that's what got me all excited. So I just want to clarify about why that happened. And since when I was jumping around and saying how wonderful this is, everybody was yawning. Maybe seeing this a second time and hearing it a second time, maybe as you hear this, by the end of it, you too will be jumping up and down and for excitement about accounting and some of the things that we do with it to make it really neat and cool. And you'll spend the whole weekend in this euphoria over this substitution idea. And this idea, by the way, to add to your euphoria, is exactly what we do when we sell an asset. When we sell an asset, we must get rid of the old. So we write off, just use the abbreviation, write off the old, put in the new, and life is wonderful. So as you jump up and down, just be careful throughout the whole weekend, and I'll see you all tired out from this excitement Tuesday next week.